everybody, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Penny. Joining me this week, another new guest, and it seems like we've got the whole of California joining us recently. Every person seems to be from the sunny West Coast, which makes me feel worse and worse as the weeks go by, seeing as we've still got snow here in Finland. But joining me this week, Michael Fowler. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. All is going well here, as I say, apart from some slightly crazy weather conditions.
Oh yeah, to say the least. I'd say even out here, it's eerily beautiful, but dead silent outside.
I think it's like that in a lot of places at the moment.
Yeah, maybe the world will recover a little bit, environmentally from this.
I'm hoping so. I just want the weather to decide what it's doing. I got sunburnt last Saturday, and then this week it's snowing, so...
Oh, God.
Go figure.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
No. I know. That's the world in which I live over here in Finland. Man.
It's like, sounds like central parts of the United States. Just where you got a hurricane one day, you got snow the next way.
Exactly. At least there in California, I think you generally know what the weather's going to be like day to day.
It's in San Diego. It's about 70 every day.
All right, I don't want to know. All right, so this week we're going to talk about the last track that we've got lined up from the Girl album, and that is Marilyn Monroe. Now, obviously, in the past we've been talking about the various other tracks from the album. And I think each week I give a different number as to what number track or release it is from the album.
Yeah.
That's because when I'm doing the research and when I'm getting the figures and the numbers and stuff, some people count Happy as being released from the Girl album. Some people don't count it because obviously it was on the Despicable Me soundtrack. So to those people that I've confused in the past, talking about, this was the third track from the album, this was the fourth release from the album, whatever it might be, that'll be why it all varies every week. Okay. So Marilyn Monroe, if you don't count Happy, is the first single released from Girl. If you do count Happy as being from the Girl album, then this is the second release.
Yes,
but
very true.
We'll say the first, because I think Happy came out before the Girl album came out, if I remember rightly.
It did.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Happy came out along with the Despicable Me movie. Then this song was the single for Girl, and I thought that this song was going to take off maybe a lot harder than it did. Not to say nonetheless that listen to the first 20 seconds of it. You're like, where the hell am I going? Mm-hmm. You're like, where do I want to go? So it's kind of like actually a really, really, really let's say to me a diamond in the rough for Pharrell production, because most people wouldn't realize that he probably took a lot of time to make this song comparative to a lot of other songs. This is his solo album, and this was his. I think Girl is better than In My Mind. That's me. In My Mind was a whole different swag.
That's a big shout.
Yup, and I'll start fights with that, but In My Mind was a whole nother swag. It was the 2006 fucking Pharrell still with Babe and just starting out BBC in the first early seasons. Girls like Pharrell as an adult, embellishing an expression about how he feels about women that he's been with or something throughout his life. So I completely encapsulated that idea when I was listening to this song. Just from the first song. This says a lot about an album. You listen to one song and you got a whole view of how the album's going to sound already. You're doing something right.
Most definitely. And I find it kind of quite weird that... Again, this came out after Happy, and that's probably why this track didn't perform quite as well as they were maybe hoping or expecting, coming off the back of that massive Happy track. And that's always a weird thing as well. When you look at the Girl album, when I first listened to the Girl album, Happy is something that kind of stood out on the album as, it stood out in a weird way, like it shouldn't be there almost. It didn't fit with the rest of the album. So I think you could kind of see that, it came out on the Despicable Me album, it blew up and went crazy, and they thought, oh shit, all these other people now know who Pharrell is. All these kids know, all these other adults that have never heard of him.
Your grandma
all
knows
these pop
now.
Fans. Exactly. Right. So let's stick it on to this album and just fit it in there somewhere. And then when people search for it and for him, they're going to see the new album, hopefully, and they're going to go buy that. So it feels like it was kind of forced in there slightly. And again, I think that kind of had maybe a slightly negative impact on some of the other singles from the album.
Realest, shit I never heard in my life. I feel like it kind of, it overtook the one song because of how popular, how amazing it was for straight up society. That song overtook his whole album and kind of dissipated the hidden artwork that could be found within the album. You're not gonna listen to the last 3 minutes of Lost Queen and find the hidden track unless if you maybe already listened to Neptune songs and already know that they throw in hidden songs, or unless if you just forgot and you were just listening to the album. But that's the thing. I feel like that song is amazing, just like the first song, Marilyn Monroe. But you gotta kind of learn to appreciate and take time for each individual song on the album. Otherwise, you're not gonna really know what he's trying to express.
Definitely. We'll go through some of the very quick facts and figures and whatnot from for the song, let's say, and then we'll kind of get into chatting about it and the video.
Yeah.
So released on the 10th of March 2014. The video was released on the 23rd of April. Can't even speak now. April. Directed by Louis Severo, as we mentioned, who directed Come Get It Bay. Was it Come Get It Bay? Whatever the last one was we talked about, yeah. It didn't, as I mentioned, it didn't chart brilliantly. I'm just flicking through the numbers I've got in front of me. It got to number 1 in Belgium on one of their weird sub categories. Number 2 in Germany, again on some weird subcategory somewhere.
It wasn't the chart topper that I'm sure he was aiming for it to be.
Yeah.
Being real, I know a lot about music production. When you go and throw in orchestral strings, you're going for charts. You're not doing it to go soft. You're going hard. So
yeah, number 25 in the UK on the main chart.
Wow.
In the US, it barely charted at all. It got to number 29 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs. Number 9 on the Bubbling Under Hot 100 singles chart, which says to me it didn't actually make it into the top 100 in the US. So yeah, it didn't perform brilliantly, but not because it's a bad song, but I think just because obviously it came off the back of Happy and it just got swallowed up by all of that, basically.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, as you mentioned, it kind of the track itself opens up with that crazy orchestral kind of string section, obviously put together by Anne-Marie Calhoun, with Hans Zimmer working on the arrangement as he did on various tracks on the album. And when you got Hans Zimmer doing the kind of string arrangement on your track and on your album, it's going to be massive.
Oh, what's funny is if you really pay attention, you would see from a lot of photos that that's who he's been working with and yada yada. But then at the same time, you did not see it coming. I did not see that coming at all. When he's like, "Oh, I'm working with Hans Zimmer," I'm like, "Oh, cool. He's just scoring in the studio." I did not know he was gonna have him on the first song on his new album. Dude, people don't realize when this album came out, it banged. The first 25 spins I had were I was pretty mind blown because, like I said, in my mind it's just a completely different project, different production styles, a lot more old school, a lot more drop it like it's hot type beats, a lot of 4/4.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really crazy to listen to this song and try to dabble in and see what chord changes he used. And also, dude, that percussion though sounds like a rattlesnake.
Yeah, the whole album, I think I've mentioned in the past, it grew on me. I wasn't initially kind of blown away by it, but as I kind of listened to it more, and even now when I go back and listen to certain tracks and things like that, I pick out and hear things I haven't necessarily heard before, and it still kind of keeps growing on me. And as you say, it's definitely that kind of next step for him musically and personally, moving into being, an adult and a family man and, having his wife and his kids and stuff like that. So it's definitely a different vibe, but a good vibe.
Yeah, if you really, really break it down, 10 years ago, he was making party music. He was the god of party music, straight up. Now, a little different, more of an adult, more mature, way more matured, dressed down too, if you notice.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of started with this album, and I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. Besides the, vampire jokes that people always say about his age, you actually can hear his age in his production in this album, because you could tell Chad wasn't probably doing too much. Sure, I'm sure he touched up things, and like I'm sure he helped, but you could tell a lot of it is Pharrell's actual ideas, which is cool, man. Because I like to see them both branch off, do different things, then meet back in the middle and do the same thing they always know how to do well.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into the video a little bit.
Let's do it.
Generally a very good video, one that I actually enjoy watching. I really like the kind of, direction of it, the way it's kind of produced, the kind of color schemes and patterns we have kind of going on throughout the video itself. Friend of the show, Brent, he makes a brief cameo appearance at the start of the video in the kind of rehearsal space that they have going on.
Are you talking Brent Pasch?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that guy's legend. That's what's up.
So shout out Brent. So yeah, he makes a little brief cameo appearance in the video. I do kind of like the opening to the video where obviously Pharrell is going to this kind of rehearsal space where the dancers are, where the band are, and he's on his kind of BMX riding up to the rehearsal space. I can't imagine in real life Pharrell would ever turn up to his rehearsals on a BMX.
Right. Honestly, I like the beginning when he's walking up to the woman and gives her a hug and she disappears. And then kind of just like, yeah, dude, the whole start out with the dancers and the BMX. He's got the Adidas and the bike. He's got the look, man. But see, even then, look at how much he's evolved since then, right? That's the beauty of looking at his older videos. You're like, wait, he doesn't even.
Oh yeah, he's constantly sort of evolving in his music and his fashion and his personal taste, and it's been interesting to watch over the years. It's always interesting going back to these videos as well and kind of reviewing them, watching them again, and like, oh shit, so at that time he was wearing that, and oh, that's when he's got that thing on. He did that thing with Chanel, so he's wearing that for those sort of few months.
Exactly.
And obviously around the girl time, he's got the kind of buffalo hats going on and all that kind of thing as well. So it's always really interesting to go back and sort of look at these.
Oh, dude, it's like it's just a masterpiece, dude. People don't realize, like, this is just some real talk. People don't realize how ballin' Pharrell is, dude.
I think we all know it.
We know, but
yeah,
other people don't realize that has millions and millions and millions of dollars, and all the stuff he's doing is just to be cool, and to not to look cool, but to like show off. Actually, unfortunately, and he does it so well that I love him for it. He's himself, dude, and like even in this video, you could tell like he chose out this artwork and he made people stand this way or do like I'm sure the director had a lot to do with it too, but I'm sure he did too.
Yeah, definitely. I know him and his team definitely when you go into projects, they definitely have their own vision and
yeah, that's the term I was looking for. Thank you.
They're quite sort of hands-on. I don't think I don't think they're overpowering anyway, but I think they definitely have a vision and a kind of style that they kind of want to adhere to, and they want to kind of portray, and an aesthetic they want to show.
Yes, I like that comment you made. Like one scene will be like, boom, blue and red, and the next scene will, but then someone had on a maroon belt, and the next scene will be a maroon outfit, and then a blue background. Like it'll just be like all linked together, trippier than you'd ever imagine.
Yeah, in this video, it kind of goes through a number of different kind of scenes and phases with the color schemes changing throughout, but they all kind of link in some way, which is really well done, really cleverly sort of done, I think, throughout the video.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of these shots are amazing, like rooftop scenes with city skylines, and then he's just matching the whole time somehow.
Yeah.
It's cool with that, but he really used a lot of female dancers in this video and like probably put them on the map too, because this is just a good, video for your resume right here.
Yeah, definitely. There's obviously all of the kind of the Bays, that
his Bays.
awful name, but yeah, his kind of dance group that were in a lot of his videos and toured with him for quite some time, and some of them still do tour with him, but not the original ones. There's now a completely different group of them that do.
Dude, super random. off the record, but you could keep this in there too. Anyway, my ex-girlfriend, her like boyfriend after me used to go out with N.E.R.D. I'm like, what the fuck? Talk about 6 degrees of separation right there, right? I was like, I'll go out with her instead of you.
And there's this is kind of sort of the early days. We see Meta there. Some people may not recognize her with her hair at that point before it gets shaved off, a number of years later for the Lemon video.
Right.
And there's obviously all the dancers. There's a number of other kind of cameos that some people may or may not have seen. I know the actress Kat Denning is in there a couple of times.
Oh wow, that's the little stuff that you watch it for again. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, the actress Katie Lotz, she's in there as well. And I'm sure some of the other women that kind of appear there, other people mainly in the US will probably know who some of them are. But there are a couple of more kind of internationally known ones that I kind of spotted in there. So he's definitely got almost a who's who of attractive women going through the video there.
Yeah, honestly, like I think even after watching the video again right now, it made me appreciate. It can make you appreciate the album a little bit more because of the main purpose. It's not even about him.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this song again is it's one of those ones that's openly an ode to like women that he's loved in the past and loves at the moment. Obviously his wife.
Well, see, like in like that's the thing is like we were talking about is the maturity level of it. You could take it to an immature level and like the songs on the album that are more party or more younger or more mature, more immature, but those songs kind of take you away from the aspect of that he's making the album as an ode to women, right? Mm-hmm. Because you could be like, oh well, he's just all he cares about is sex and pussy and yada yada, or you could like read the lyrics, you could watch the videos, you could look at the artwork or surrounding the album, and you could realize it's an ode to women. He's not disrespecting women at all.
Well, exactly. Even the chorus of this song, where he sort of says, it starts. Of course, people, I'm not going to try and sing it in any kind of way, but where it starts, dear diary, it's happening again, and he's talking about that. It's that retrospective view on having a crush on somebody and falling in love with somebody over again, and that kind of feeling that you get, when that starts to happen with somebody new, and that's what I really like about the track and the way it's written, especially that chorus part where, it starts Dear Diary, and it's that kind of ongoing retrospective view and acknowledgement that he's obviously been. Had crushes in the past and been in love in the past, but he's now going through that process again and really enjoying it, I guess, as an adult and looking at it from a slightly different way, in a more kind of grown up way, as opposed to back in his 20s where when he would be when he would have a crush on somebody or be in a relationship with somebody, it would probably be a very different process and experience.
Honestly, like I think the song, this is weird, and this is just me too, right? But I think the song is to actually maybe even describing why he's with his wife. Because he's literally saying that he could have all of these girls, Marilyn Monroe, Joan of Arc, all these bitches. He can have any of them. He can have anyone he wants, but he just wants a different girl.
Yeah. They don't compare the person he's with at the moment. Yeah.
Exactly. They don't even compare to who he's with at the moment. It doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
So this is interesting perspectives,
Yeah, it's almost like a love song to his then girlfriend or wife.
But then at the same time, it's like the music is not written in a lovey way. Those are not like love chords, It's more mysterious. Those are like all mysterious. He's using crazy mysterious jazz chords. And that's why
as he has a habit of doing.
Yes, as he has a habit of doing, exactly.
But at the same time, I think if you took, and I've not really listened to the instrumental side of it that much, but I imagine if you took all of that side of things out, you took the drums out, the guitar, etc., and you were just left with the strings, and you had that kind of string intro, and you just carried on with the strings throughout the song, I think that would be a kind of almost it would give it an almost kind of ballad type feel to it, I think.
You definitely could, especially like there's so many elements in that song that you could replace. For instance, like I played bass. There's not really much bass in that song at all. There's bass drums and bass and kick and like hits and like bass drops and like that's all good. But man, you could add a killer bass line over top of that song, and make it a different song. You could, there's lots of little.
Something else we kind of briefly touched upon as well is the kind of set design and the way it kind of moves from scene to scene, which I kind of really like. In the one that kind of stands out to me, which people will see is the show art as well. And shout out Rafa Zirk Illustrations for the show art again. I think it's the second kind of main scene, which is where they've got the kind of red, blue, and white contrasting on the walls and on the floor. And then it also kind of matches his hat and his suit jacket and his shorts and his boots as well.
Sometimes it's so bright it hurts to look at the wall.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time? Sorry about that. I was like, what?
It's all right. I can edit this bit out. It's fine. Yeah. So the second scene where it's got the kind of red, blue, and white contrast on the floor and on the walls,
yes,
and with what the dancers are wearing as well. Mm-hmm. But then you look carefully, and it's also his hat, his suit jacket, his shorts, the boots. They're all kind of color coordinated.
Yeah, dude,
as well
he had
kind of fit it all.
He had a teal hat, like one of his hats matching with like everything else he's wearing. That's like, if you think about that, that's insane. And you also know that hat's custom. You also know that it's probably beaver fur or something. It's because I know randomly about custom hat design. But
I think also I think it's at that point or earlier on as well, we see one of the very early human-made T-shirts as well he wears in this video.
That's very true. That's like probably from their first season, maybe even season 0.
Yeah, I think he wears it underneath the suit jacket a couple of times. People out there that know a bit more about human-made than me will be able to tell me, but I think it's got to be one of them. The first couple of seasons at least.
You want to know about human-made? Go ask my friend Aaron about his experience in one of their fitting rooms. Yeah, man. Their human-made fitting rooms is like a one-person like bathroom camper tent stall thing.
It's the same in at BBC. I don't think they've got. I think in New York they've got slightly bigger booths in the New York BBC store. But if you go to the BBC store in London, so you've got like the main area where you come in, you've got shelving each side. Then you go downstairs into like, it's not a basement, it's just like half a level down where you have more stuff. But yeah, in the corner it is just like a shower curtain and you just kind of pull it around yourself and you stand there like that. And you can't move, and you have to try something on. And obviously the shower curtain type cover, which is I think the BBC EU hunting design, doesn't actually go all the way around you. So, and also I think you mentioned earlier that kind of rooftop scene towards the end. This is kind of the one part of the track I don't particularly like. And as a video, it kind of works. But in the video with Kelly Osbourne, I'm not a fan of like the Osbournes or Kelly Osbourne in general. And obviously, I remember an interview with Pharrell talking about how he wanted somebody with like a British kind of accent to actually kind of speak that part, and they were trying to find the right person.
I'm with you.
And obviously, with their kind of Hollywood connections, and she was also in the Happy video as well.
That's kind of awesome that she's like actually a fan.
Yeah, and obviously it's the second video she's been in. Like I said, I'm not a Kelly Osbourne fan. I just found it a weird place for her to kind of like randomly turn up on an album.
You're just like,
you wouldn't expect it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty random, I gotta say. I mean, you know what though? I bet you they have a strong relationship previously through MTV. I could see that, especially like award shows and stuff. Them both being in the rock scene. I always wonder how he got a chance to work with the Rolling Stones. It probably was because of someone like Ozzy.
Yeah, and I know he's worked with Sharon Osbourne in the past. I know they've appeared on talk shows together. And is it like The Voice or something he did in the US maybe?
Yes, that's what it is.
I think she might have been on that as well at the same time, or she's previously done it or something like that.
That's for sure where that came down. Was probably The Voice.
Yeah,
most likely.
So I imagine there's some connection from there. All right, you ready to go again? Was that your housemates?
Yeah, my housemates. Maybe not as into the Neptunes as much as I am, for sure.
Other people rarely are when it comes to people like us.
They are. But they don't even know it half the time. That's what I noticed. I'm like, man, you love this song. You love all the. I named all the. You say you don't like Pharrell, but I named all the songs and he made them, and they're like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, yeah, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and also with the Kelly Osbourne part as well. That's when we see Pharrell. He's got that arrow sticking from stuck to his shirt.
Yeah.
Although like it's coming from his heart, and then Kelly Osbourne turns up on the rooftop with a bow. So I'm guessing she's playing Cupid in this analogy. Yeah, again, just a strange cameo both on the album and also visually within the video itself as well.
Yeah, that's it's so random, and it's like random too because of the year that came out and stuff. Because it's not like she's relevant. What the hell has she been up to?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not like the Osbournes were still like really big at that point or anything like that.
What's funny is like I don't know if you remember, but there was this is like super US, but there was like a during 9/11 in 2001, I was like 11, but I remember this shit. There was one point where they were like, you know what? Someone on the news was like, let's ask Ja Rule how he feels about, the attacks. And it's just like, what the fuck has Ja Rule ever done for politics or like society or anything? Like, we don't give a fuck about how he feels.
That's what we should do at the moment. That's what we should do at the moment. Get Ja Rule on the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, when all this is over, like all the festivals have to start up again, and because they've all been cancelled this summer. No one knows a festival like Ja Rule. So yeah, let's get him involved in all of this.
He knows the way.
Yes, Ja Rule, about as irrelevant as Kelly Osbourne. Yes,
he'll save us all.
Yeah,
from everything. Oh god, literally though, like that's how they make you feel.
And we also noticed in the song at this part as well, when he's obviously in the video they're on a kind of rooftop and stuff, is they've obviously got this kind of big this horn section, and you get that really repetitive long horn note. It sounds like a foghorn almost. And it's just again, it's a very different thing to do as part of a. It's obviously not a bridge, but like a breakdown at some point. Just a long repeated horn. It's a really it's very different to what he's done before.
And you're talking about the.
Yeah.
It's so that now remember he interpolates all his music, most of his music. I can't say all. I'm not an asshole, but a lot of the music that he does make, it's like he's making that song as an homage to another song. So, but remember, Pharrell's like A Tribe Called Quest, except they sample, right? So Tribe used to use like 32 samples in a song. Let's say Pharrell is making his own samples and then making the song. That way he doesn't have to dish out royalties. That way he doesn't have to wait for things to clear. It's genius as hell. And because he does that, hearing that part, you can actually take that part of a song and throw it into other songs where you hear a part that's similar, and it probably is because of the other songs. It's like it's crazy how linked all of music really is. But when he throws in these little sounds, these little tricks, I hear homages to house music. I hear homages to the creation of like early 90s like breakbeat music. Like he's really creative, dude. It's so awesome. And like it kind of reminds me, like that break reminds me of like maybe some old reggae music or maybe some old UK garage music from like the early 90s. Because like people forget too, he's a drummer. So he knows his timing with that. Mm-hmm. But that's what amazes me about his music is that it's not even, sometimes it's the drums that I'm like, oh my god, these drums are, when I say stupid, I mean like they're amazing. Like they're fucking stupid, they're amazing. They're so crazy. But other times I'm like, how is this piano so catchy? It's like he injected me with like crack or something.
Yeah.
So that's what just keeps me listening, man, over and over again. And this album was so underrated. Oh my god. So underrated, dude.
It's kind of how I feel now, looking back on it. Like I say, it didn't hit me initially.
No.
But it's grown on me. It grew on me straight away, but then over the years, it's grown on me even more.
Question. I mean, I know this song is obviously the topic of our podcast today, and it's an amazing, amazing, amazing song. But what is your favorite song off the album and why? I'm just curious.
I think Julio asked me this a few episodes back, and I don't remember what I said. I really like Lost Queen.
Yes, dude. I feel you. And I don't know why. That song just hits. And then the after song.
Yes.
Just like that, dude.
They're more early N.E.R.D. sounding to me. They're a bit more they sound a bit more kind of experimental to a certain extent.
Dude, I think that like honestly, a lot of people could only listen to that song, and if they only heard that song, they'd buy the album. But because a lot of people always listen to just this. That's the thing about artists, man. I don't know who the hell chooses their singles, but I would have not chosen the songs that he chose as singles. I guess it's because it's more marketable, and they see I don't see how any of that is more marketable than Lost Queen. All you do is go find some super hot mixed black chick, throw her in like the Dominican Republic beach, like the beautiful music video was in Brazil, and just like drench her in water and white, and then just like have her sing to her ass or something, and everyone will buy that shit.
Yeah, it's weird because I think at that time they're starting to obviously like try and appeal to slightly different markets. Like we say, that you had the Happy stuff out, so a lot more people were more aware of him. It was obviously around the time of Blurred Lines and all that kind of stuff. So that was obviously blowing up, and they knew that was going to be positioned sort of halfway through the album as well, in terms of single releases. I think that came out after, the sort of third, I think, single from the album. It's obviously they're trying to sort of tie all this in and understand it, and obviously the Daft Punk stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you've got the kind of R&B and pop fans from Blurred Lines. You've got the kind of more musically inclined people from the Daft Punk stuff. You've got people like us that are just big kind of, Pharrell, N.E.R.D fans anyway.
Yeah.
And then you've got that kind of weird and wonderful wide audience from Happy. So I think that after that, they're just trying to maybe plug some of the gaps in terms of some of the demographics they want to reach. Because again, with the 4 or 5 singles that came out, some were only released in certain areas, some were only digital downloads. So they had a kind of a very mixed strategy in terms of, their marketing and how they rolled out the singles and how it worked with the album. So yeah, I think they were kind of, plugging holes in terms of certain demographics to find. But I'm with you. There are other tracks off of the album that I feel may have made stronger singles. But again, it may just be the fact that they thought, well, it doesn't really matter what we put out, because when we put this out, it's going to be, straight after Happy, or it's going to be off the back of Blurred Lines, or whatever it might be. So it's kind of almost irrelevant.
Yeah, and it's just like, I feel like when, let's say, they have more like the Neptunes as a whole, or Pharrell or Chad, any of them have more creative control over their own projects, they would not choose that these songs as a single.
Yeah,
because it would get more, because they know the love that they're already waiting to receive from being successful already, from having platinum hit records, from being number one. And if you really break it down, they're gonna do it again. They're about to do it right now. They're planning on it. That's what they do. That's why we listen to the best.
But that's the thing when it comes to albums like this that are kind of commercial releases. There's obviously there's, what's the word I'm looking for?
I know what you're saying already though too. It's like
you have to.
You gotta play the game. You gotta play the
compromise
game.
Is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. You've got to kind of compromise with the record label, who've obviously stumped up X number of dollars to, market it and put it out. And yeah, I'm sure Pharrell, maybe his team may have wanted other tracks, who knows. But yeah, at the same time, you've got to listen to the label and, give in to some of the kind of their needs and wants as well, in terms of, where they spend their money and all that kind of thing. And, we saw that with the Nothing album, they detested the album, didn't want to make it, and essentially just let the label kind of control what was coming out, and the label picked, pretty much all of the worst songs off of the album to put out as singles, the most kind of poppy, cheesy ones.
Yeah,
and that's what we got from it.
Always what it is. I could say it, but the thing is though, this explanation of said demographic, of the way albums are broken down and how singles are chosen, I could break this down into every single album, dude. But especially a lot of Neptunes albums, a lot of their single selections, man, they would have had completely for all their negative sales, they would have had completely opposite sales if they just literally changed the single. It's crazy. That's a crazy observation right now, actually. Especially in my mind, for instance, I think he went with "Can I Have It Like That."
Yeah,
I would not. Oh my god, that was a great song actually. In the end, now looking back, I actually enjoy the fuck out of that song. Back then, I couldn't have it like that many times, man. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. You look at that one, and that's from at least a label perspective. That's an easy choice. That's the big banging club track off of the album. It's the big braggy track with Gwen Stefani.
I'm gonna tell you something though. You know what would have got my attention more as a kid? The song "How You Feel." That would have been a way better single. Or the song "Best Friend," and just throw Chad in the video, and just have him and Chad just talking that shit out they're both rapping it to each other. Oh my god, you know what I'm saying? That already sounds better, right? That's the problem with the Neptunes sometimes, I feel is they have so many fans, but I feel they're so far away from their fan base that, one, that's what makes their music so amazing. But two, that's what also can drown them out from the airwaves. If they were a little bit closer to us as fans, which they are, they always meet fans, they always take pictures. I am not hating or saying nothing like that. But if they interacted a little bit more with their actual only their fans too, of just the Neptune, we would steer them in a correct direction. Have it in a correct medium, because we know what we want. We know what we want to hear already.
Yeah, I get that. The only the kind of counter argument to that is obviously it's not just Pharrell and Chad and whoever they get to pick. You know, there's the people at I Am Other. You know, and they're a record label and a kind of creative company just on their own. Then you've got the label backing as well, who obviously have their say. And, you know, again, it's that kind of compromise, I think, that you have to have. And out of, 3 or 4 singles that come out, I'm sure, Pharrell is more than happy with 1 or 2 of them. I'm sure there's probably 1 or 2 they're not, they wouldn't necessarily pick themselves, but but the label wants it out for whatever marketable reasons.
Right there, what you're talking about right there that's all I want to hear is the stuff that got thrown away. Because some of that shit is fire, hot fire. Probably like, wait, I want to hear it again. Even for me, man, when I produced half the stuff I threw away, people were like, that's amazing. And I'm like, it is? So imagine these guys, right? Their trash can's probably goldmine.
Well, yeah, I know there's, when they made the last album, they've got, literally thousands of CDs and hard drives just, full of beats and tracks they've done. And, Mike, who worked on the album, got to kind of go through all of that old stuff and pick little bits and pieces here and there that you like the sound of to bring into the album. But yeah, there's, literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of, demos and clips and all sorts of things out there still. So yeah, to be in that studio and have access to those hard drives and those files would be a magical thing, a magical experience.
It'd probably create some new artists out of it. Betcha.
One other quick thing I wanted to mention about the video. One of my kind of favourite parts of the video, which again I think it's like the 4th kind of main scene, one of the the final scenes, which is where you've got that kind of black and white set design, with the kind of pink cherry blossom trees. Yes. And then obviously the
oh my god, that reminds me of an artist friend I have. His name is Daniel Arsham. Mm-hmm. Check out his artwork. He actually posted a picture today with Pharrell at his studio, his old studio.
Yeah, I know Daniel. I think most people that listen to this probably aware of Daniel, at least because his friendship and collaborations with Pharrell. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. This specific scene, it's funny. I actually was recently looking at pictures of his studios and work he's done. And if you look at his Insta, he has a studio kind of similar to this background. It's kind of gnarly.
Oh, really?
He has like some trees, some like crazy bonsai trees laid out, and he has a huge Zen garden, but like inside, not outside. And then he has the one outside too. It's like really crazy. If I can find pictures, I'll send it to you for sure. It reminds me of the scene a lot though, and like but the way they have the moon popping right here is really cool.
Yeah, that's what I really liked. When he kind of looks up to the moon, and obviously the lyrics refer to the moon turning around, and it turns around, and the
I gotta you gotta be real. This is one of the coolest music videos ever, low key. You would never think it is though, because it's not really. It doesn't have action. Like there's no guns or no violence, and it's not crazy sexually or hypersexualized. But like, dude, like for the set design and for like the color coordination and for like the outfits, like they went all the fuck out in this video.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really well produced and directed video. And yeah, I kind of, like I say, I love that scene where it turns around the model. I can't remember her name. I used to follow her on Instagram. I don't anymore. But yeah, it kind of turns around. She's there. And what I kind of quite like is when I first looked at it, I thought she was just holding a guitar. Mm-hmm. But it's a bass guitar. And she's obviously not really playing it. But she's playing along to the bass line of the track as well. Which kind of just ties into the song really nicely, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, hey, dude, I play bass. I love little things like that. Would it be nice if you really played, though? Yes. All in all, it's all good. This video is a masterpiece, dude. And it's, like, hard to appreciate it if you haven't listened to the album. So for anyone who's listening for the first time to the song or to this podcast, go and listen to this album and let us know how you feel about it. It's very good. It's very passionate and it's an ode to women. And it's a joy to listen to, seriously. I think best tracks though are probably Lost Queen for sure is the top track on the album, and then I'm gonna have to say Come Get It Bae is like it climbs up there and goes up and down with me. Also to that what was that track with Justin Timberlake again? I can't think of the name right now. Oh my god.
Brand New.
Brand New. That song is amazing. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites as well. Yeah.
That actually Lost Queen and then Brand New.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that's probably what I'd pick.
And then no 3, Know Who You Are. That's with Alicia Keys. Good song. Really, 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 really good song. Went all out on that album, dude. I honestly wish it got the recognition that it deserves. You never know though, man. Sometimes albums get awards later on.
Yeah. Sometimes they make a resurgence at some point. Something happens, and you never know. But for me, it's a really strong album. Like I say, it's grown on me over the years. I still enjoy listening to it, and it's one of those albums where I can easily just put it on and listen to it end to end in the background.
Or like someone who might not appreciate, the Neptunes or Pharrell could just appreciate it because it's just easy. Like you said, easy listening. It's not we're not forcing you to listen to hip hop right now.
Exactly. It's not full of
it's not like drop it like it's hot. It's not like giving you
Yeah.
dance instructions. It's just like listen to this music about women.
Yeah, and it's not even N.E.R.D. like.
No,
even with N.E.R.D. You've got the rock, you've got the hip hop,
They've
you've got
got
jazz.
but
you've
see,
got the funk
N.E.R.D.
and the soul
got that swag, dude. They have a weird bounce, that weird, awkward nerd swag that I love so much. That like I throw into my step every day I walk outside.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I meet, Pharrell's not massively known over here in Finland.
Yeah.
Amongst younger people he is, but people that are older than me don't tend to know who he is, and you have to say, the guy that did Happy, and they're like, oh yeah, him, I know him.
Yeah.
But when people ask me like, okay, so I want to like listen to some of his stuff, what should I listen to?
Ooh.
And it's like you have a spectrum that goes from
That's like asking you what kind of
miles.
science you want to start learning or something.
Exactly, yeah.
because
if you're really into hip hop, I can say like go and listen to like In My Mind.
Yeah.
If you want some weird mixture of, if you're into like rock or whatever, I can point you to a certain N.E.R.D. album or certain tracks from albums. If you're into like jazz, I can point you that way. But if you're not into any of that stuff, then I guess Girl is kind of a good way to introduce somebody.
Yes. It's like a good album to show your girlfriend, like, hey, like I really like Pharrell, like you should listen to this. She'll be like, okay. Or like a girl you're talking to, or like your cousin, even your mom could listen to this and not want to shoot herself in the head. It's like I see why he made it though. After talking about this now too, he made it to probably even just make more women listen to him too, and that's genius. I'm gonna make. You know what? How can I make more women listen to my album? I'm gonna name it Girl. That's fucking smart.
It's kind of that's the problem I had with the album at the start. It seemed slightly
That's just fucking smart, dude. Like I can't even hate on that.
Conceited. Conceited isn't the right word, but I kind of looked at it in a way that like, you're kind of pandering to this new kind of movement that's happening about the empowerment of women and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he was. I think he was he was genuinely expressing his actual feelings, and he wanted to kind of make it about women.
It's funny because I've noticed that he's been empowering women from pretty much like day one with N.E.R.D. existing to an extent. It's crazy because you think that he's doing it because it's a fad, but he's, like you're saying, he's actually extremely genuine about how he cares for women.
Yeah.
He's very passionate about it, and like what's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that.
That's everything I had for the video and the song. Anything else you kind of picked out that you want to mention or talk about?
All I could really say is for anyone listening, thank you so much, and to just go and listen to anything the Neptunes produce, because their music has taken me further around the world, further deeper into any parties, deeper into any situations that I've ever been in. I've met the coolest people in the world, including this guy right here, just from music. So think about that. Imagine what you could do if you listen to a really good song.
It brings us all together, most definitely. All right, let's get into a bit of news quickly. We've got a few bits and pieces from the last week or so. Some Neptunes news, some BBC news and whatnot. So what have we got first? So something you mentioned to me before we started recording. BBC US have started selling a selection of protective face masks. They were available this week in the EU, but they all sold out immediately. So I guess they got very limited stock sent over. I don't know if the US store still has any, but if you're after a face mask and you want to be particularly fashionable with it as well, then there's 3 different versions, isn't there? There's an Arch logo one.
They have even more now, dude.
Okay.
Even more. The thing is, they keep selling out. So if you guys are really interested in getting these face masks, go to bbcicecream.com and just check daily, or or subscribe to the newsletter. They'll tell you in the email when they get them. They even have the I don't know if you remember the chocolate print that was on the bottom of the ice cream board flips.
Yep.
But they put that as a face mask too.
Ah, so yes, I saw that one, yes.
Yeah, it looks like Hershey kind of bars. It's cool.
So, yeah, I think the EU store got sent, the Arch logo, the small astronaut head, and then the running dog face one, I think they had. But, yeah, there's obviously a few more available in the US. So, yes, if you're on the lookout for a face mask, then, keep your eyes peeled on the US and the EU websites for when they re-up on them. If you want one a bit sooner, you want to pay a little bit more, then go check out friend of the podcast, P the Designer, who kind of hand makes, custom luxury.
Oh, that N.E.R.D.
Yeah. So
huge shout out to P the Designer. That guy makes amazing high quality bags, and he is such an awesome Lamborghini aficionado. It's cool to just be a friend of his and look at his page. Straight up.
Yeah. Shout out P the Designer, and he's making face masks. They're all kind of handmade in Canada where he is. They come in like crazy luxury packaging as well. They look amazing. So definitely go and check out his Instagram. I'll put a link in the show notes to some of his stuff as well. Also, BBC Ice Cream currently releasing lots of wallpapers for all of your Zoom and Skype call needs, seeing as that is how we now seem to run our lives and our businesses. They're releasing new backgrounds each week based on kind of classic designs. Couple of weeks back, they released a kind of night and day Miami Beach design. This week, it's a Cones and Bones design, which I have set to mine at the moment. So if you're on the lookout for wallpapers to block out the mess that's in the background of wherever you're recording your meetings from, then you can head over to the Instagram page. They normally put a link on their profile each week to go and download those. BBC EU, we had pre-420 drop number 5. The drops are coming thick and fast. Again, some really nice items involved in there. And also, I think it was today or yesterday, BBC EU are now stocking Ice Cream Japan items. In Ice Cream Japan, BBC Ice Cream Japan are doing some absolutely amazing designs at the moment, using a lot of the old classics, the old running dogs, the Cone Man.
Dude, they have a new collab coming out with Atmos Japan right now. It looks fire, gotta say.
They're doing some big stuff in Japan at the moment, and like I say, if you've been fiending for that Japanese ice cream, you can now get it at the BBC EU store. But get over there quick because they've got some amazing items, but I think they are selling quite quickly. What else have we got? Being locked down means people are being productive with their music and their mixing. So last week we saw Joe Kay from Selection do a live stream on the BBC Instagram page where he did a Neptunes inspired mix, which was about an hour and a half long, I think. A really, really good mix.
Hey, were you in there?
I dropped in and dropped out, dropped in, dropped out. I was doing something else at the time, but it is up on SoundCloud now. The whole mix, and I've downloaded that, and I've listened to it about 3 times since then.
Okay.
So again, there will be a link in the show notes to the whole mix that you can stream or download from SoundCloud. It was a really, really good mix as well. Also, friend of the show, Star Trek World, he did his own Neptunes mix earlier this week, I think it was, or maybe at the weekend. He has sent me a copy of that, but I've not had a chance to listen to it yet. Once I do, I will try and either add it to the show notes or a link to his page so you can ask him for it. Or if he's happy to, I will put it up on the website and make sure I post a link on Instagram somewhere. What else have we got? A bit of Pharrell news. Yesterday we found out he's going to appear on the new Run the Jewels album. Run the Jewels 4, I think the album is. That's out on June the 5th or 6th. I don't think it's a Pharrell or Neptunes production. I think it's just a Pharrell guest appearance on one of the tracks there. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. And then one final piece of news, completely self-serving. I have another new video out, which you can find on YouTube, or you can head over to theothers.net, where I'm actually doing a video review of the 2019 Reebok Ice Cream sneakers. I have previously talked about them in length on the podcast with Julio a few weeks back, but what I realized was talking about a physical item on a podcast doesn't really come across very well. I can't show you certain things. I can't show you the specific things I'm talking about.
Well, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, so I've put that into a video. The video is about 30 minutes long. It was a lot longer than I expected it to be. But I've got, an original pair of ice creams there, the new 2019 pair that I've been talking about, the tan, dollars and diamonds, and going through them in detail, pointing out all the things I like, the things I don't like, the things they could perhaps do better for next time.
I've got 4 pairs myself.
Of the new ones?
Nah, I got 1 pair of the new ones. I got the yellow D&Ds, but I got 3 of the old ones. Still in pretty good condition too.
Yeah, I think I've got 5 or 6 pairs still. I sold a pair a little while back.
Hell yeah.
Which didn't fit me. They were dead stock. But yeah, the ones I've got here, I've got 5 or 6 pairs. I think I've only ever worn them once or twice. So still waiting for a good excuse to break them out and wear them some more.
Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm like. And you know what? When it's always like that event that you go to or party or whatever, people are always like, "Damn, what are those?" Like every single time,
yes.
they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, they always turn heads, let's say, and get questions from them.
Or what do you call it? Breaking necks is what we call it out here.
Yes,
just breaking necks.
Yes. So yeah, if you're an ice cream fan, go check out that video. Again, if you've been on the fence about the new ice creams, you don't like them, you're not sure about them, again, go check out the video. I show them in a bit more detail, talk about specific things. And you can also, as well, if you look carefully at the moment, a lot of places still have them in stock and they are on sale. So they were retailing, I think, €120. You can pick them up in some places now for like €75, which is like $70.
And if you're really, really looking, eBay would probably be the best bet to find these shoes. I know the white ones are like basically gone unless you have a huge foot. But for the yellow diamonds and dollars, all over eBay, all tons of sizes, for about like $100 to $120. So almost the same price for you too.
Yeah, so you can still pick them up out there. And like I say, even if you're not a massive fan, I think just for the quality alone, just as a pair, just like a pair of beaters, they're really, really good value and honestly, well worth getting.
If you got to think about it this way too, for a lot of the ice cream colorways and sneakers, they barely ever released this colorway. They never released the fucking diamonds and dollars. They only make the shirts and the jackets before they release the shoes with that color. So it's like you got to kind of buy it and put it away for when they make it something else to match it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's all the news I had for this week. Anything else from yourself, Michael?
No, my friend. Thank you so much for your time. Maybe a few shout outs though.
Of course, go for it.
The Otherz podcast. First off, thank you for
why thank you.
Your awesome hospitality online. It's been amazing and it's been a pleasure. I want to shout out King of Creams for everything you do for the community. Thank you so much for being a stand-up guy and always just responding to messages and just posting and just being cool. P the Designer, special shout out to you. Go check out his brand of face masks, N.E.R.D. They're about $15 a pop. It's coming straight from Canada. He makes them himself. Black and gold, baby. Next, I want to shout out myself. Tigers.yo. Check me out. I have my own Instagram page. I got music. I got a store coming up. Got lots of stuff. I'm going to start selling old Bape, old ice cream, old BBC, all vintage 90s gear. So holler at me with that. And last but not least, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your day.
Great stuff. And we'll have links in the show notes for all of that. In the meantime, you can stream this podcast, all the others, over at theothers.net. You can find us every podcast app under the sun. You can find us on Spotify. You can help support the podcast by going to othersmerch.com. You can find me online at Steve R. Penny. And obviously, you can find us online everywhere at Others Podcast. So we'll wrap it up there. That's it for this week. Thank you for listening, and we'll speak to you next time. Bye-bye.
All right, take it easy.